Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to share with you 3 exercises that you can do to break up that knot in your throat, Globus Hystericus. And that knot in your throat, it is so common that it's kind of annoying when your doctor tells you that nothing's wrong because you pretty much know that something is wrong. And don't feel bad if you can't immediately get rid of that knot, because there's a lot stored in that knot. You know, in Chinese medicine, Globus Hystericus is really about chronic, overwhelming stress with this flare of hypervigilance. It's that hypervigilance that takes stress to the next level, whether the underlying pressure of hypervigilance came from your family of origin, the stress of work, or the stress of trying to keep you and your family safe. Globus Hystericus starts out as the stress in your interactions with others, colored with hypervigilance. I'm going to share with you simple massage techniques that you can use to help break up your Globus Hystericus. And then I'm going to share with you how Chinese medicine thinks things are happening. And what I love about Chinese medicine is how it sees you. You can learn a lot about yourself through Chinese medicine. And you'll be able to see why Chinese medicine thinks Globus Hystericus starts with your interactions with others. And when you see that, you're going to start to see how this knot in your throat may come from learned behaviors. And it'll probably take more than one thing to get over it completely. So at the end of this, I'm going to point you to some other resources that may help you. Let's start with the massage. So place both your thumbs underneath your chin. Slowly push your thumbs along the bone of the jaw, wrap around that crook of the jawline, and end right below the ears. The second exercise, put your thumbs right below your chin, push back until you feel that dip or that hollow under your chin, and then go a little bit further past the hollow. Take both your thumbs and pull them apart directly to your jawbone. And the third exercise is just as easy as the first two. Take both your thumbs, put them directly under your chin, push back until you feel that dip or that hollow under your chin, then go a little bit further past the hollow. Now let your thumbs make small circles in that area. Those are 3 massage strokes that may help you with your Globus Hystericus. And you can do each of these multiple times, maybe while you're watching TV or just hanging out. And you don't have to press too hard because that is your esophagus. In fact, that area is going to be so tight that you're going to be able to figure out the exact right pressure for you. And your goal is to just help get that area moving again. For many of us who have Globus Hystericus, managing it could be a lifelong process because Globus Hystericus is about how you see the world. You know, and most of your behaviors, your beliefs were mapped onto your psyche by the time you were 5 to 7 years old. So by that time, you already had this worldview. In classical Chinese medicine, they worked hard to keep a pregnant woman calm and well-nourished because they believed the child would enter the world with their own agenda instead of learning and experiencing the mother's stress. I bring that up to help you see that in Chinese medicine, your view of the world is being created from the moment you exist and solidified by the time you're 5 to 7 years old. This is a very short window, which turns out to be the most formative period of your life. And it's going to create the stage that you're going to play on for the rest of your life. This is the stage of how you see the world. This is a stage of your expectations of yourself. To keep your stage alive, you're going to need to find actors who can play the parts you're assigning. So you're always going to be looking for people who can fit into your play. Now, just like in real life, actors, they're not the parts they're playing. The people in your life, they're not the parts you've assigned them. It's just that your response to them and their response to you fits perfectly in your play. And I like this part of the medicine this part of the medicine where it can help you see and understand yourself better, there's usually this flavor of the liver channel and the liver in Globus hystericus. In Chinese medicine, they use the analogy of the liver as the general, which gives you this really beautiful vision of someone who's going to risk everything, even themselves, for what they love and care for. And then Chinese medicine also says that the qi, or the energy of the liver, likes to go in all directions. So it breaks down over too many restrictions. And here you can see the flow of a river that's been dammed. The river's not allowed to find its own path in the world. So you have these two very poetic views of the liver, one built on self-sacrifice and one built in response to external constraint. It's like you needed that last little flavor of hypervigilance to create Globus hystericus. As an adult, you can look back at your childhood with this new vision of searching for hypervigilance and start to see some of those things from that life and how they impact you today. Some of the first physical symptoms of chronic stress are grinding your teeth, clenching your jaw, and this same thing is happening in your throat where your tongue meets the back of the throat. And it's from holding those muscles around your esophagus so tight because you're holding back and not expressing yourself. And if you're the general, your love for your family is going to have you obsessing about their safety and your ability to provide, even when everything is great. Now, that doesn't seem like a bad thing, but it's that hypervigilance that takes this good thing a little too far. If you're that river that's been blocked, one way that could have been created is by growing up with an alcoholic. And, as a child, you don't have a choice who you live with. That unpredictability and that constant need to be cautious and wary and not say anything is a perfect example of behavioral training to be hypervigilant and untrusting around people. So it's that hypervigilant flavor that gives you the added boost needed to take you to the next level, allowing you to let stress get stuck in your throat. And how it does that is by tightening your muscles as you hold back. Time can change that knot. As you get older, you might start coughing up phlegm. And after decades of the muscles being tight and restricting fluid movement, you start to see older adults getting swelling under their chin or double chins. So all of this happened with your interactions with world, and it becomes part of your goal to help reduce your hypervigilance. All those childhood memories and messages of caution with that superhero flavor of hypervigilance, those things you want to get rid of. I went back where I grew up a few years ago. I used to go to the store with my dad to buy these awesome German cookies, and it would take about an hour to get to this store. Well, in the years that I've been gone, there's been a lot of development, and new roads have shaved off about 20 minutes off that drive. But in order to find that new road, I had to do some exploring and trying out new avenues, and not all the avenues worked. In fact, most of them didn't. Some made the trip longer, some didn't even get me to the store. But, as long as I kept trying, I was bound to find that one road that took 20 minutes off my drive. That's what this is, finding that road that's going to shave off the hypervigilance. And maybe your hypervigilance is that extra 20 minutes that you just don't need to spend on this task. Some of the things that I like to help with this are things like meditation. So check out the Finding Balance playlist to find ways to introduce yourself to different avenues of meditation. Another thing that might work for you is working with a classical Chinese medical provider to help open up the heart. Foods. Some foods have a strong impact on the liver channel, helping it move again while others block it. And when your liver starts moving, you're going to stop feeling so pent up, restricted, and exhausted. And you can find some of those solutions under the Chinese nutrition playlist on this channel. Well, that's a lot of information. You have 3 massage techniques that help break up the tension at the root of Globus Hystericus. You heard a lot about how Chinese medicine interacts with Globus Hystericus. And because Globus Hystericus has a foothold in the identity you created as a child, it's a complicated fix. It takes effort to change the stories you learned as a child. And those stories, they've become so familiar, you don't even hear them anymore. You just react to them. And you also heard about some other things that you could follow to help you continue on your path. Hopefully, you heard some things that could help you change your mind so you can change your life. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the other side.